Welcome to AI Debates. We're your hosts from AI for the People, the show that breaks down all the complex stuff about AI and makes it, well, a little less complex.
That's right.
And today, we're diving headfirst into a topic that's been blowing up online, even trending on, that app with the little blue bird.
Oh, you mean the one where everyone seems to have an opinion on AI ethics? Yeah, it's everywhere.
Exactly. It's no surprise, though, right?
Yeah.
AI is evolving so quickly, it feels like warp speed. And it's definitely making people wonder about how it's going to impact, well, all of us. And that's precisely why we're here. We're going to untangle these thoughts and fears, dive deep into the things that are worrying people, and see what the experts have to say about the ethical quandaries that seem to be swirling around artificial intelligence.
It's a landscape full of potential, that's for sure.
You got it. Full of potential, but also potential problems. And that makes it so important to really talk about it. So let's kick things off with something that I think is on a lot of people's minds. Data privacy and, consent.
Big one.
I mean, think about it. AI basically lives on data, right? Especially in fields like healthcare, where AI is already making some pretty big waves. But here's the thing. Are the safeguards we have in place for data privacy today strong enough for this new AI-powered world? What do you think?
It's a question a lot of folks are asking. People are right to be concerned about how their information, especially sensitive stuff like their medical records, is being used. And there's this leading AI ethicist, Dr. Jane Doe. She has a really interesting point. She says that these clear consent mechanisms aren't just like a nice thing to have. They're absolutely critical for people to actually trust technology.
That makes a lot of sense.
If you don't know how your data is being used, especially to train these powerful AI systems, how can you possibly trust them?
Right. Exactly. Like, why would I trust them?
Yeah.
It feels like organizations are trying to walk this tightrope. They're pushing the limits of what AI can do, but they also have to think about respecting our privacy and our data. It's a tough balance.
It is, for sure. And it leads us to another concern that we've been hearing a lot about on AI for the People, job displacement. This idea that AI is going to automate jobs out of existence, it's a real worry for people.
It's like the big elephant in the room. You hear all these stories about AI taking over jobs, and it's easy to feel, I don't know, a little anxious about what that means for your own job, for your future.
Makes sense.
And this isn't like some sci-fi movie. It's happening now. This economist, John Smith, he's done some interesting research on this. He's suggesting we need to get serious about retraining programs, help people learn the skills they'll need for the new jobs that AI is going to create.
It's about adapting.
Exactly. We can't just sit around and wait to see what happens. We have to be proactive.
Absolutely. And it's not just on individuals. It's on governments, businesses, schools. Everyone needs to work together to make sure that this AI revolution actually benefits all of us.
That's a great point. So let's move on to another big one. The potential for bias in AI. I mean, we've all heard the saying, garbage in, garbage out. Well, the same thing goes for AI.
Oh, yeah.
If the data we feed these AI systems is biased, then the AI is going to inherit and amplify those biases, which can lead to some pretty unfair outcomes.
And we're already seeing real-world examples of this, from hiring algorithms that discriminate to loan applications that get unfairly rejected.
Exactly.
And this researcher, Dr. Emily Zhang, she really emphasizes how important it is to use data that is diverse to test these systems thoroughly to root out those hidden biases.
Right. It's almost like we're holding up a mirror. AI is going to reflect the biases that are in the data.
Right.
So we have to be super careful. When AI is involved in decisions that affect people's lives, those decisions need to be fair. And building AI, it shouldn't just be about making things efficient. It should be about building a system that reflects our values.
Well said.
Okay, so now let's get into something that always seems to spark debate, the human element in decision-making, specifically AI decision-making. I mean, as AI gets more and more sophisticated, how much autonomy should we give it? Should we really let machines make big decisions that impact our lives? Where do we draw the line?
Oh, that's a good one. You're going to get a lot of different opinions on that.
I bet.
Some people believe that AI, just because it's so good at crunching numbers, at analyzing data, can actually make better decisions in complex situations, when there's just so much information to consider.
Right, but then isn't there a risk of giving AI too much control? What about accountability when things go wrong?
Exactly. And that's why some people really push for human oversight. There's this Professor Michael Lee. He believes that AI is actually most powerful when it's working alongside humans, not replacing them.
So it's more about augmenting human decision-making.
Yeah, using AI as a tool to help us make better decisions, not to make decisions for us.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's all about finding that balance, that sweet spot where AI can help us be better without completely taking over.
It is, and it's one of the biggest challenges we face, especially as AI keeps getting smarter.
For sure. And this brings us to the really big picture questions, the broader ethical considerations, the future implications of all this.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about shaping the future of humanity. What does this mean for our society,
Mm.
for democracy? I mean, for our very existence, right?
Yeah.
The stakes are pretty high.
Absolutely. Dr. Sarah Chen, she's a really influential voice on this, and she says, we have to be very careful, think long and hard about what we're doing. There could be consequences we haven't even thought of.
Right, these unintended consequences. It's like we're standing at a crossroads, and the choices we make now will have huge ripple effects for generations to come.
Absolutely. That's why these conversations are so important. We need critical thinking. We need to make sure ethical considerations are at the forefront of everything we do with AI.
I agree. And that's exactly what we're all about here at AI,
Right.
for the people making these complex topics a little easier to understand.
Right, making them accessible to everybody.
So as we get ready to move into the next part of this AI debates deep dive, think about this. What are your thoughts? What ethical challenges around AI are you most concerned about?
We'll be exploring those questions, so stick around. It really is a journey. And it's a journey, we're all on together. AI isn't just some abstract thing anymore. It's woven into our lives. And while its influence is only going to keep growing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's in our phones, it's in our cars, even our homes.
Mm.
And as it becomes more present in our lives, the ethical questions around it just become more important.
Mm.
But what I think is interesting is that AI ethics, it's not just about preventing bad things from happening, it's also about, maximizing human potential.
Exactly. It's about harnessing the power of AI for good. I mean, AI has the potential to revolutionize healthcare, education, even our efforts to combat climate change.
I know, right? It's pretty amazing. Just imagine a world where AI is helping doctors to diagnose diseases super early on, like before they even become a problem. Or imagine AI developing personalized treatment plans, or even helping surgeons during complicated procedures.
And we're not just talking about improving what we already do. AI could help us come up with totally new treatments, therapies that could lead to breakthroughs in cancer research, Alzheimer's, and so many other conditions that people are struggling with.
It's really mind-blowing when you really think about it, and it goes way beyond healthcare, too. AI has this potential to, personalize education, make it so every student gets the exact kind of learning they need, no matter what their background is or how they learn best.
Imagine a classroom where AI tutors are adapting to each student's needs, giving them customized lessons and support. That could completely change the game for education, especially for students who don't do well in the traditional classroom setting.
That's such a good point. And then, of course, there's the potential for AI to help us deal with some of the biggest challenges facing our planet, like climate change.
Absolutely. AI can help us become more energy efficient, reduce waste, come up with cleaner energy sources, and even predict and maybe even mitigate the effects of climate change. It
Right.
could be
Yeah.
such a powerful tool in the fight for a more sustainable future.
Yeah, I mean, the possibilities are just endless. But while we're busy exploring all these amazing things that AI could do, we can't lose sight of those ethical considerations. We need to be sure that AI is developed and used for the benefit of everyone, not just a select few.
Absolutely. And that's why having these conversations, raising awareness about the potential risks as well as the rewards, is so critical. We have to be asking the tough questions, being vigilant, holding the people who are developing and deploying AI accountable.
Right. And that's really what AI for the people is all about, right? Empowering people with the knowledge and the tools to understand AI and ultimately help shape its future. We really believe that everyone has a role to play in this. So earlier, we asked all of you, our amazing listeners, to share your biggest concerns about AI. And we've got some really thought-provoking responses. One listener writes, I'm worried about AI being used to manipulate people, like in advertising or even in politics.
I mean, that's a valid concern. We've already seen how algorithms can target people with personalized content, trying to get them to buy certain products or, yeah, support certain political ideas. And as AI gets better at understanding how we think and behave, the potential for that kind of manipulation could become even greater.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slippery slope. It makes you think, who's controlling these algorithms? What are their goals?
Yeah,
We need transparency. We need to know how these systems work and who's behind them.
absolutely. We had another listener ask about the impact of AI on creativity and art. They asked, will machines replace human artists?
Oh, that's a good question.
It is.
I mean, we're already seeing AI creating music, writing poetry, even painting.
Mm.
Some people believe that AI can actually enhance human creativity, open up new possibilities in art. Others are worried that it'll lead to like a homogenization of art,
Hmm.
taking away that special human element that makes art so meaningful.
Right. It's an ongoing debate, and it probably won't go away anytime soon, especially as AI gets more and more sophisticated.
Yeah, and it raises all these questions about what art even is,
Mhm.
what makes something truly creative, the process, the intent behind it, the feelings it evokes.
Definitely something to think about. Another listener brought up a point about the concentration of power in the hands of a few tech giants who are developing AI. They asked, what about fairness and access?
Yeah, that's a really important point.
It is. We need to be sure that AI is developed and used in a way that's equitable, inclusive. Everyone should benefit, not just a select few. That means access to the technology, to the skills needed to work with it, and to the power to decide how it's used.
Right, it's about making sure that AI benefits all of humanity.
Exactly. And to do that, we need to be thinking about ethics at every single stage of AI development, from how we design algorithms to how we collect and use data. We have to think carefully about the values that are baked into these systems because they're the values that will ultimately shape the future of our world.
Well said. So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I think it's pretty clear that the ethics surrounding AI, it's complicated, it's nuanced, it's not always black and white.
For sure.
But by being open to different perspectives, having honest conversations and keeping those ethical considerations front and center, we can make sure that AI is a force for good in the world.
Well, that's a great point to end on. So, for everyone listening to AI debates, remember, you're not just listening, you're part of this conversation, you're shaping this future. As we move into the final part of our exploration, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on all these ethical dilemmas? What are your hopes and fears about AI? What solutions do you think we should be exploring?
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So share your thoughts in the comments below or, tag us on social media using hashtag AI for the people. Let's keep this conversation going.
Wow, it's been so great to see everyone getting involved in this conversation. AI ethics is definitely a hot topic these days. And it makes sense, right? AI isn't just some sci-fi fantasy anymore. It's right here. It's happening now, and it's changing our world at an incredible pace.
It really is. Things are moving so fast. But with all this rapid progress, there are also some incredible opportunities emerging. Like, think about the potential for AI in healthcare, for example.
Yeah, we talked about this a little earlier, but it's definitely worth exploring a bit more. Imagine a world where AI can help doctors catch diseases really early on, even before you have symptoms. Or help them come up with treatment plans that are tailored just for you, or even assist with really complex surgeries. Absolutely. And it's not just about making things better, it's about creating entirely new possibilities. AI could help us develop new treatments, new therapies that could revolutionize how we treat diseases like cancer or Alzheimer's. I mean, these are things that affect millions of people around the world.
It's truly mind-blowing,
Yeah.
and the potential goes way beyond healthcare. AI could make personalized learning a reality for every student, regardless of their background or how they learn best.
Yeah, imagine AI tutors in the classroom, adapting to each student's needs, providing customized lessons and support. That could really change the game for education, especially for students who struggle in a traditional classroom setting.
Definitely. And then there's potential for AI to help us tackle some of the biggest problems facing our planet, like climate change.
Totally. We could use AI to optimize energy consumption, reduce waste, develop cleaner sources of energy, even predict and try to mitigate the impacts of climate change. AI could be a game changer in our fight for a more sustainable future.
It really seems like the possibilities are limitless. But as we get excited about all the things AI could do, we have to remember the ethical implications. We can't forget about that. We need to make sure AI is developed and used to benefit everyone, not just a small group of people.
Exactly. That's why it's so important to keep having these conversations, raising awareness about the potential risks alongside all the exciting possibilities. We have to stay vigilant, ask the tough questions, and hold those who are developing and deploying AI accountable for their actions.
You're right. We can't be passive about this. And that's really the heart of AI for the people, isn't it? To give people the knowledge and tools to understand AI and be active participants in shaping its future.
It is. We believe that everyone has a role to play. So as we wrap up this episode of AI Debates, this deep dive into the ethical landscape of AI, we want to leave you with this thought. The future of AI is not set in stone. It's something we're all creating together.
The choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. It's a journey, and we're all in this together. We're so glad you joined us for this episode of AI Debates. We hope it was insightful, thought-provoking, and maybe even got you a little fired up about the future of AI.
Absolutely. Don't forget to check out AI for the People for more in-depth discussions on this incredible topic.
We're your go-to source for understanding all things AI. Until next time, keep those AI debates going.